I'm very, very troubled by the Maryland-Israeli Development Partnership. I just learned about this from Maryland Peace Action. I will be in Annapolis on Wednesday. I don't know if I'll be doing a show Wednesday. In the past, when I've been rallying with Code Pink Wednesdays, I've been able to do this program in the afternoon. But it looks like this Wednesday, at least coming up next week, I'll be in Annapolis for the day. So I may not be, if that is the case, and it looks like it is now, I'm not sure, then I will be off Wednesday. But I think it's worth it. I'll take videos to the extent I can. I'll interview people. I'll try to have as much footage as I can of that lobbying day in Annapolis, where we're going to be lobbying against any support for the Maryland-Israel Development Partnership. I want to show another video, showed a video that they put together. Here's another one. I'm not sure if MIDC put this together, but here's where they're confronting about the most progressive executive, the most progressive Democrat in the country who's holding elective office. And I believe that is my county executive, Marc Elrich. I don't think anyone quite reaches his level of progressivity. And this video I find incredibly depressing. And again, a great example of why ultimately the Democratic Party cannot be the solution. All right, so where's our video? Where's our audio? There's the...
Good evening, County Executive. You talked a lot about the budget constraints. I'm concerned about this Maryland Israel Development Corporation Center, the Montgomery County.
Okay, there it is. By the way, I always get it wrong. Maryland Israel Development Center. That is the actual title. I called it a partnership. He said corporation, which makes perfect sense that you would think that. It's actually the MIDC, which is the Maryland Israel Development Center. And it's a public-private partnership between the Maryland governments and Israeli companies. Fascism, right? Pure fascism, government and business tied together. So here we go.
$1,000 to per year, and the state gives hundreds of thousands of dollars to. It seems like a boondoggle, and it's a country that is engaged in apartheid and genocide now, and I don't understand why.
This video, October 17th of last year, October 17, 24. So the genocide had been going on for over a year when this questioner is asking County Executive Elrich, Marc Elrich, why are we giving our taxpayer money? Why are we promoting Israeli businesses with that money?
Our tax dollars need to be going to Israeli companies and weapons manufacturers. So, I hope that you can cut that off. We've been talking about this for years. You know that.
I'd say the hard thing for me on this is, where do I draw the line? We do business with...
Let me just interrupt. So that's Marc Elrich, who I really like, and I know, and I've done work for Marc, and I even spoke at an event honoring Marc. I have a lot of respect for Marc Elrich. He's one of the few people that when he speaks, and few people in government that when he speaks, when he provides a particular argument for a particular position, I listen. I don't just think it's make weight. I'm like, I'll reconsider views. Not usually, to be honest with you, but yeah, he says, I support this or I support that. I'm going to be like, well, maybe he's right. Maybe that's a good idea when I didn't think it was. That's how good Marc Elrich is, in my opinion. And yet he's so completely wrong. His first argument, it's so bad. Well, it's a problem. Where do we draw the line? Meaning Israel's bad in some ways, yeah, but so are lots of other countries. No, then don't do business with them either. It's not a hard one. You don't need to do business with these foreign countries. You can do business with American businesses that are promoting a better environment for workers, for consumers, for the state. You can do that, Mark. You don't need to do business with a genocidal, ethnic cleansing state. You don't need to, an apartheid state. And to say, well, draw the line, because what about Congo? What about China? Well, none of them are as bad, first of all. Israel's the worst. But if you want to point to other states and say they're doing terrible things to their people too, Saudi Arabia, I'm with you. Don't do business with them either. That where do you draw the line is such a bad argument.
Business with lots. I hear you. I don't.
Poison gas manufacturers here because they.
Right, so he just says, is it true that we have poison gas? It's hard to understand. Is it true we have poison gas manufacturers here? I'm going to replay that for you. And that was shades of the Holocaust, right? Because how did the Nazis kill Jews and other undesirables, other Untermenschen? With poison gas. More with bullets, but plenty, in the millions, with poison gas.
I hear you. I don't.
Poison gas manufacturers here because they.
But they're not the only poison gas manufacturers, and we probably.
So they're not the only poison. Is that amazing? His argument is, well, yeah, Israel. There are some poison gas manufacturers from Israel here. I'm not aware that Israel's using poison gas. They're doing awful things. They're committing war crimes. They're committing I wasn't aware, but that answer by Mark, well, they're not the only. There's lots of people who make poison gas. So the fact that we have a poison gas manufacturer doesn't mean, it's so terrible because there's others. That is so awful. This is a Democrat. This is about the best Democrat there is. And that's his answer. This party has to be left behind. They taint everything they touch. And why is Mark making that argument? Because it's money. He's looking for revenue desperately. And he doesn't even have the power to raise taxes on the wealthy. You can't do that in Maryland. Only the state can raise income taxes. Yes, they can impose a sales tax. No, they can't raise income tax. It's disgusting. So I sort of get where Mark is, but no, you can't. There's some limits. There's some red lines. And he won't go over. He won't cross. He won't say no. He won't say... he crosses it. He says, I'm going to support the genociders. It's horrible. It's just not going to work. We cannot get to a better place with the Democrats. We can only get to a worse place, maybe a little bit more slowly. So I'll wind up the program today. Got in my hour, which I'm happy about, and I will do some editing and cut it up into smaller segments. But I do really, really hope, let me just repeat again, and look, I support Andy for governor. I think he's a really good guy. I think if he became governor of Maryland, things would get better here. How much power would of course, everything's limited. He would be with there are not Greens running up and down the ballot, which we need, but any boost to an emerging or alternative party is huge. And again, I don't I don't totally agree with Andy on everything. We've had some strong disagreements. But ultimately, where he is where I am, which is we need to move towards a world where everyone has enough and nobody has too much. And he will do that. He will promote policies that reduce the power and wealth of elites and increase the power, political and purchasing, of poor, struggling, and working. And in this case, since he's in Maryland, Marylanders. All right, I'll be back Monday, but I will let you know, I will regale you with tales of my visit in frigid cold temperatures to Annapolis tomorrow.